Вот это пиздец. Вот это взорвали.
Strike drones attacked an oil refinery in the city of Saratov, causing a large-scale fire. According to the Astra, the attack on the refinery took place at 3 in the morning. According to local residents, it was accompanied by dozens of explosions, after which thick black smoke rose into the sky. The scale of the fire was also confirmed by NASA satellites, which recorded the fire. According to their data, the fire was spotted at 03:54, and according to new photos and videos, it is still going on. The Saratov oil refinery is currently one of Russia's largest industrial facilities for oil refining and production of gasoline, diesel fuel, fuel oil, road and roofing bitumen, vacuum gas oil, and industrial sulfur. The company is owned by Rosneft. As of 2024, it processed about 5.8 million tons of oil, which is 2.2% of the total refining volume in Russia. This is not the first attack on the refinery. On February 11, 2025, the territory of the enterprise was already attacked by a UAV. At that time, the governor of Saratov region, Roman Busargin, confirmed the damage to the industrial facility without specifying which plant was hit. Previously, Militarny reported that an attack by Ukrainian attack drones on August 2nd put 2 of Rosneft's largest oil refineries out of commission. Rosneft's largest refinery, the Ryazan Oil Refining Company, suspended operations at about half of its capacity, while the Novokuybishevsky refinery has been completely shut down since August 2nd. The Ryazan refinery, with a capacity of 13.7 million tons of oil per year, is the largest in Rosneft's structure, one of the top 5 largest in Russia, and supplies fuel, in particular, to the Moscow region. In 2024, this refinery processed 13.1 million tons of oil, accounting for 4.9% of the total oil refining in Russia. Currently, the Ryazan refinery operates a primary oil processing unit KSU-6 with a capacity of 23,200 tons per day, which is about 48% of the total capacity.
Вот это пиздец. Вот это взорвали.
Давай. Ой, бля. ПНПЗ попали. Попали, бля. Охуеть. Блядь.
The Ukrainian Defense Forces have liberated and completely cleared the border village of Bezolka, Sumy region, from Russian invaders. This was reported by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. It is noted that units of the 33rd Separate Assault Regiment and the 24th Separate Assault Battalion were involved in the operation. It is also reported that during the fighting, Ukrainian soldiers eliminated 18 Russian invaders. On July 7, 2025, the Russian Ministry of Defense announced the alleged capture of Bezolka. However, neither the monitoring resources, including Deep State, nor the General Staff noted the presence of the Russian military in this settlement on their daily map. It can be assumed that the Russian military attempted to make a breakthrough with an assault or sabotage and reconnaissance group on a new section of the border in Sumy region and were destroyed in this border village. In 2021, 16 people lived in Bezolka, and as of early July 2025, several people remained in the village. Yuri Zarko, the head of the Bilopilska community, told Suspilny TV about this at the time. They refused to evacuate. According to him, that was a family that kept cattle. Elderly people. They were offered an opportunity to leave, financial assistance. They also offered to help them take their cattle. They refused. We have no contact with them now because the phone is simply not working. And it is impossible to reach them now because of the security situation. This village is actually on the border, 800 meters away, said Yuri Zarko. In late July, soldiers of the 225th Separate Assault Regiment liberated the village of Kindredka in Sumy region, about 2.5 kilometers from the border with Russia. According to deep state sources, the 225th Separate Assault Regiment unit has completed the clearing and consolidation of Kindredka. It is noted that during the operation, Ukrainian units inflicted significant losses on the enemy. In particular, a battalion of the 40th Separate Motorized Rifle Regiment, a battalion of the notorious 155th Separate Marine Brigade, and a battalion of the 30th Separate Motorized Rifle Brigade were defeated. The commander of the battalion of the 30th Motorized Rifle Brigade was also killed. This is the second village liberated by this unit in Sumy region. Before that, in June, the 225th Brigade liberated the village of Andreyivka, about 5 kilometers from the border with Russia. On the Pokrovsk axis, drone pilots from the Central NGU unit destroyed a Russian Grad multiple rocket launcher with a precise strike, the National Guard of Ukraine reports. Leaders of France, Italy, Germany, Poland, the UK, Finland, and the European Commission stated ahead of Trump-Putin talks that peace negotiations on Ukraine are impossible without Kyiv's participation and a ceasefire. Borders cannot be changed by force, and the current front line should be the starting point. From the Global News, the report How China Fights in Large-Scale Combat Operations contains a detailed assessment of China's military strategy, operational concepts, and the expected characteristics of the People's Liberation Army ground forces, conducted by the U.S. Army Training and Doctrine Command. The Chinese leadership perceives the global security environment as increasingly complex and perilous, identifying the United States as its principal strategic competitor. Although not explicitly defined, China's primary interests center on economic development, domestic stability, national sovereignty, and territorial integrity. In order to safeguard these key interests, China has expanded the scope of its focus to include overseas interests. This expansion was documented in China's 2013 Defense White Paper and is reflected in its efforts to establish global military influence. China's interpretation of its territorial sovereignty is quite broad and has resulted in territorial disputes with 17 countries. Among these, Taiwan and its disputed status are of particular concern to the Communist Party of China. Chinese leaders reject foreign interference in the Taiwan issue, democracy, and human rights, prioritizing their ambition to establish China as a global economic and geopolitical power. China's approach to conflict varies from diplomatic engagement to full-scale warfare, employing all available means to gain advantage. This comprehensive national approach encompasses a wide range of activities, including the work of China's United Front, a combination of influence operations, interference, and intelligence activities, and the three warfares, psychological, informational, and legal, which are applied to advance national interests without direct armed conflict, as well as the military concept of active defense. The concept of active defense establishes the foundation of China's military strategy and involves a strategically defensive posture with the capability to conduct offensive operations both at the operational and tactical levels. This enables China to fully leverage three factors: numerical strength, large reserves of military equipment, and internal communications. Additionally, the scope of active defense has expanded over the past 15 years, shifting from a purely defensive stance to one capable of projecting power beyond China's immediate borders. This evolution includes developing anti-access capabilities, emphasizing maritime military struggle, and preparing for informationized and intelligentized warfare. The strategy integrates the concept of modern people's war, which the CCP defines as the mass mobilization of society to confront foreign aggression or protect national unity. A key tenet of China's active defense strategy is war control, or effective control. That is, how China manages activities during competition, crisis, and conflict. War control emphasizes the management and containment of conflicts to achieve specific objectives while minimizing risks. It can be understood as having three main components. Establishing position uses nonviolent means during peacetime, competition, to address potential weaknesses, and maintain stability. Crisis prevention and control employs all national instruments of power and whole-of-nation capabilities to prevent escalation while seizing opportunities to advance interests. War situation control seeks quick victory at minimal cost while containing escalation in intensity and scope. China views military-civil fusion, the concept of a national integrated strategic system and capabilities, as a critical enabler in strategic competition and conflict. Chinese military power integrates and depends upon whole-of-nation support for rapid deployment and protracted sustainment. In 2015, Xi introduced the concept of military-civil fusion, which is a further refinement of CCP concepts of civilian support to the military. In 2017, the CCP established the Central Commission for Integrated Military and Civilian Development to oversee its integration, later renamed the National Integrated Strategic System and Capabilities. This system was adopted to help China make optimal use of its significant civilian economic power, science and technology sector, and civilian infrastructure to support military development, and, symbiotically, to use military research, development, and capabilities for social benefit. China has developed initiatives across all segments of society in the frameworks of military-civil fusion, which have important implications for its strategic and operational capabilities. Examples of this can be seen across all segments of society.
Today, we recognize the dedication, commitment, and
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.